Journey where passion for cannabis and the healing power of art intertwine. Join us for an extraordinary episode as Jay Blaze delves into Cassie's unique journey, unraveling the profound connection between cannabis, art, and personal healing. Join the conversation this episode and let's get organically blunt. Organically Blunt Show, a podcast that's about cannabis and the lifestyle that surrounds it, with real conversations, whether you're a novice or a professional grower. Light up and join the conversation. Let's get organically blunt. Comes to genetics, we trust Seedsman Genetics, a seed bank that has been in business for over 20 years. So head on over to Seedsman and use coupon code Organically Blunt. Popping jars, cure, store, and save your terps with TerpLock technology. Grow bags, your solution for auto curing and cannabis storage, along with customized design solutions. Make sure to use coupon code Organically Blunt at checkout. As the soil and amendments, we trust Country Roots because we like to know what we're putting in our body is organic and it is the best that can be made locally. So head on over to countryroots.com and tell them Organically Blunt sent you. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Organically Blunt. I am Jay Blaze, your host, and this evening we have the pleasure and the opportunity to speak with Cassie about her art and her company and her whole journey as a whole. So welcome to the Organically Blunt Show, Cassie.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm beyond excited to be here.
Definitely. Hopefully everybody can find us. It might take a minute. You know, I accidentally hit the wrong button. I had the wrong intro loaded for the show. It was a whole mess. And that's what happens when you don't get sleep. So I apologize to everybody out there. If they haven't found us yet, they will be coming in. They can catch the recap. We'll be found on Spotify, iTunes, you name it, we're live there too. So welcome to the show, everybody. And this week we want to thank our sponsors, Seedsman Genetics, for being a quality seed bank that always provides and supports the show, and Grow Bags, because without them we would not have quality flower to smoke because our terps would dissipate. So welcome to the show once again, Cassie. And I'm sorry I had to blurb out all the fun stuff at the beginning there, but I kind of got to give thanks to the people who put it on for us. And so I want to start out with a simple question, and that is, where did your journey with cannabis and art begin? But before we dive into that question, we kind of got to start with the art. Mm-hmm. And that, when did you discover you had a love for art, and when did that begin?
So I was probably like 4 or 5 when I really started understanding like creating and drawing and everything like that. My real mom would always draw Fred Flintstone. She'd draw characters, but it was Fred Flintstone that I specifically remember. She drew so amazing. And I just thought she was magical because I didn't understand how she could do something like copying somebody else's art, just incredible. So I was like, Mom, I want to be like you when I'm older. And it just kind of blossomed into that. And I joined different coloring competitions. I think it was Hungry Howie's had a pizza competition, and you could color these pizzas in any way you want. And if you won, you'd win free pizza. And so I was in there all the time, just entering my drawings, and we won a lot of pizza because of it. So, and then I just kept going, entering into coloring competitions and expanding into a little bit of photography. And yeah, I just escalated into where I am today.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I haven't seen coloring contests in a long time. So that definitely brought back some nostalgic feelings there. I remember going to Pizza Hut and them having a coloring contest. And I think Russ's Restaurant might have had it. But definitely, that is so cool. So you have determined that you have a love for art. But how did the love for cannabis come about? And how old were you when you first tried it?
So I was my adopted mom ever watches this, she's gonna laugh. It was my sophomore year. I smoked a joint and I was with my friends and I just moved to this really small town and like I needed to make friends. And so they had me over and I smoked this joint and I remember not getting high at all. And I was like, oh, weed doesn't do anything to me. Ha ha ha. I'm one of those people that just doesn't get high. And I was very much unaware that I just, one, either didn't have good weed, or two, I just needed a fatter joint. I don't know. It just it just didn't hit the spot. So um that was the first time, but I do remember being a kid and my real mom and like my aunt and my uncles would all sit around the kitchen table playing cards, and I know they smoked cigarettes, but there'd be times when they smoked something else that smelled a little bit more funky, and they always were much more giggly after they had smoked it. So I was like, okay, well, whatever this is, you can keep doing that because you guys seem to have a great time. Everybody was always getting along versus when alcohol was around, people were always arguing and it was just like so chaotic. So I loved when they smoked weed. um,
Yeah.
so as I got older, there were a lot of different things. Like I definitely smoked after, I think it was my senior year is when I actually tried again smoking, and I smoked long, took a fat rip, and yeah, it was over. I remember looking in the mirror. I I didn't throw up. I was very close to, but I remember looking in the mirror and being like, Cassie, you're never doing this to yourself again. Don't ever smoke weed. No. And it made me giggle because later on in the day, I was at a perfect high. My friends and I went to the lake and we went swimming. So I had such a great time. And that blossomed when I got into college and I joined an organization called Students for Sensible Drug Policy. That
Oh,
organization, I knew they were like, at first I thought it was just going to be a group of people I could go and smoke weed with. But also when I found out that they were a group of people who understand that people are going to use different substances, so they don't condemn nor condone, but they recognize it's going to happen, so they provide safe resources for people. It gave me a better understanding of my mom and the way that she had gone. I wanted to change the resources and the accessibility and also like the knowledge of why and how it had happened. And with cannabis, I found that it's been quite an amazing medicine that I've been able to learn about and educate others on and use that as a medicine for them. So it really sprawled from the way I lost my mom and wanting to find a way to change how I experienced it and how she also experienced it because she just didn't have the right resources at the time.
right, definitely. That's amazing, you know. You gotta live out your parents' legacies. You know, I lost my parents too. I lost my grandpa. Them were my parents. I was adopted by my grandparents, and I lost him to COVID 4 years. It'll be 4 years this year. But you know, I started the show because he was a hemp farmer, and he wanted to re-educate, and that's kind of I'm living his legacy here. So yeah, it's cool that you remember the Flintstones and you remember, you know, that's something you don't want to forget, and nobody can replace that or take that from you. So you always got to remember that memory. People can't take memories from you. So
And
that's
that
one thing we'll always have. Yep.
I will cherish with my heart forever and ever. And I don't know why I haven't created a Fred Flintstone piece yet, but it's on the way.
You definitely should. I
Yeah.
think it would be cool, you know, even if it's for a personal journey. You know, that leads me into my third question that I have for you. And that is, has any of your art that you've created inspired healing? And if so, is there any certain symbol that you use in your art as a whole across the board that distinguishes that one, it's your art, and two, it might be a symbol of healing for you?
Yeah. So I at first when I started making art, I knew that I wanted it to be a way for me to express how I felt, but see if there were others who understand or like felt the same way. And I know that a lot of my art might not portray um like a whole lot of deeper emotion when you first look at it because it might be like mushrooms, eyeballs, or whatever. But the people who get it just come up to me and then they say such magical things in the way that people can sit and find their own meanings too. Like I've had many people tell me things that they found, and after they say it, I'm like, whoa, that might have been something I unintentionally did, but it needed to come out. And so it's been quite a beautiful journey to hear all of these different perspectives on my art and how people will then say that it will either inspire them to go and create themselves or just see life in different perspectives. And that's also what I'm trying to do. Like, although life can hand us a lot of really awful negative things, we can take it and make it the most vibrant, beautiful creation that we want. It's just up to us to see that side. And so that's why a lot of my colors, my paintings are just very vibrant and like in your face and just makes you feel happy and good because yes, there are a lot of hard things that we go through, but that gives us that character and we can learn to understand what has happened and use that to grow and to shine more light and help heal others too who might have gone through similar things. So that's
Definitely.
like I think the colors are a lot of my symbols. It's very consistent. Like when you look at my art, um, the colors, a lot of people will be like, oh my gosh, I've seen your piece because of this. The colors are always super vibrant. Um, I also really like to do the signature drip. That's in the majority of my pieces. I like to just have that slimy, drippy effect that just makes it look like everything's melting. So that's really fun. And then eyeballs. So I don't know like if either one of them have necessarily a healing meaning behind them, but more of like specifically with the eye, just understanding one perspective and changing and transitioning because my art style started off as like drawing, sketching, and I was trying to do realistic portraits of people's faces. And when I learned I didn't have the patience to do all of the shading, but also I want color and I want it to pop and I want it to just be like, wow, I knew I needed to switch it up. So I kind of kept the eye aspect because I really love drawing eyes. That was my favorite thing about drawing faces. So the eyeball and doing different things with them is a lot of fun because people have different shaped eyes. And so being able to just, I feel like there's never a wrong answer when you draw an eyeball, to be honest. And so you can see it in different ways and perspectives. And I think that's what makes it
Definitely.
stand out.
I got a tidbit about the eyeball that you might not know. I don't know if you're familiar with who Von Dutch is. Von Dutch was not just a clothing line like most young kids know it as. Von Dutch was actually a famous motorcycle builder. And what he did is he was an artist and he put the wings on each side of the eyeball with a halo above it. Or
Okay.
you could find different versions of it if you type in Von Dutch eyeball. But
Mhm.
really, the eyeball, and I don't talk religion on here, but I will explain what it means. And the eyeball actually stands for a Christianity symbol for the Lord above sees all and knows all, and
Okay.
that dates back to 10,000 years BC.
Mhm.
And only reason I know this is because I did a whole report on Von Dutch in high school, and I actually have his eyeball tattooed on me. So
Oh, heck yeah, that's so cool.
yeah, yeah. So like it's kind of my thing, you know. I'm a graphic designer as well, so that's kind of why your art actually did attract me when I seen you at a couple of the festivals. I'm like, it's exactly like you said. I wish I could share some here. I don't have your website or nothing available, but I'll contact you later and get your links, and we'll put it in the show notes so that way people can find you. But it's so vibrant that it brings you happiness. It brings you joy. It's almost like, oh, like your tent reminds me of like going to the circus.
Yes.
Like, yeah, yeah, like happiness and exciting, and you don't know what's gonna pop out at you, and it's great. It really is, and yeah, yeah. Hipsters is in our chat here. He said he didn't know that about the eyeball. A lot of people don't, and I'm one of them people that collects weird facts. I know. I go off the wall. It's my ADHD on weird facts. I tend to have a photographic memory, and I remember the weird things. So like, I don't forget things when I learn it, but I remember it because of the weird facts. But definitely, you know, we're 16 minutes into the show. I'm gonna spark up because I like to smoke.
I was
You're
just
more than welcome to. Um, but that leads me into my next question. You know, you kind of explained that you didn't get high the first time, but the first time you did get high, did you get the munchies? And if you did, what is your go-to munchie typically when you do get high? I mean, is it sweets? Is it salty? Is it sour? Is it popcorn, ice cream? Everybody has one, and we want to know what yours is.
Yeah, so the first time I got high, like actually high, I was way too obliterated to even understand what was going on. I just remember my friends being like, yo, if you lay in the back seat, we'll take you to the beach. And I was like, okay, cool. So I'm laying in the back seat. They stop to grab some snacks. I'm like, cool. I get to the beach, and all I want to do is be in the water. So, first time I didn't really eat munchies. And honestly, I really surprisingly don't get munchies. I wish I did because my appetite's always so like just non-existent. So I've been trying to do more research on strains that have more appetite, um,
Sure.
so I can eat more because I need to. But if there is times where I'm like, dang, I need some munchies, it's definitely like sweets. I love chocolates. I love Butterfingers are one of my favorites. I love sour candy too, though. So it's always like a good mixture of two of those. And then maybe sometimes I'll get some hot Cheetos or some Takis in there too if I'm feeling spicy.
The sour candy is my weakness. I have to have Sour Punch straws or Sour Patch Kids, almost like nightly. That's how
Yeah,
bad. Like I run to the gas station and get some when I get off the air, usually on these shows because I have the munchies. But
right?
definitely. So when it comes to your art, do you also do custom request pieces for people? Like if they said, "Hey, I want you to create something, you know, on your own mindset, but based off of these guidelines," would you be would you be willing to do pieces like that for people?
Oh, absolutely. I've done a couple of commission pieces. I'm currently in the process of doing one right now, actually, because I paint wooden letters. So I have a band that wants me to paint their name with a wooden letter. So I'm really excited. This is like the first word I'm doing. So I'm really thrilled that it's them because they just have good vibes. Um, and then one of the most interesting ones I've ever done was somebody said that he was touring with Nickelback, and I don't know if that was him actually performing or if he was just following Nickelback's show. I'm not exactly sure, but he wanted a tribute piece, and I was like, okay, cool. And he asked for a trippy Nickelback painting, and I was like, okay, well, this is going to be really interesting. So I took on the challenge, and it's the song Photograph when they're holding it up. It's that scene, and I have them wearing um, a pine cone pendant. And the photos, like aliens and somebody getting abducted by the alien. It's just some really just woke, hippie, trippy stuff with Nickelback's themed. And I crack up every time I think about it. I kind of want a shirt of it.
That would be cool. Yeah, definitely. I have a if you ever need a guy, I have a good guy that owns a print shop for
Hmm,
merchandise. He's here in Muskegon, but
okay.
he does he does really well. He does all my apparel. He does great work, and he does low quantities too, so you don't have to order 100 of them to get it done. So it makes it great. I'll connect you with him because he's always looking to help other people get their brand out there.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Love
Yeah.
supporting local, so I'm here for it.
Yep, definitely. And that's what it's a guy I went to school with. So like when he said, "Hey, I do this," I was like, "No shit." And then, he's like, "I'm going to do your stickers." And I said, "Okay." And so I sent him the money, and he's like, a couple of weeks went by because he was busy, and I was okay with it. And I was like, he's like, I did your stickers 400. And I'm like, 400? I can't afford that. Like, and he's like,
Mhm.
no, I cut you 400 for the cost I told you for the price of 250. And I'm like, dude, that's legit. So I've got stickers, so I'm handing them out. Yeah, so like it worked out great because I didn't ask for it, but I was under the way I read it, I was under the anticipation that he was trying to charge me 400, and I was like, "Oh, I can't afford that, man.
Right.
That's crazy." But yeah, definitely. So, where can people find you to if they want to have you do a piece? I mean, how can they connect with you?
So I'm currently in the process of building an actual website that will showcase all of my art and my portfolio and all of the like articles that I've had. But my most, I'd say, the two easiest ways would probably be Instagram and Facebook. Celestial Aura Creations on all of them, and I message back pretty quickly. So, in Instagram's a little bit easier to message back than Facebook is. For some reason, they don't like to notify you when you get messages.
Right.
Yeah, I just message me and I just talk to people about prices. I have a little price sheet, but if somebody really wants something, I'm always willing to work with them.
Definitely, definitely. So, has there ever been a song that has influenced a piece of your art?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Um, I would say maybe not just one specific song, but an artist. Grizz, EDM artist. He's from Detroit, pretty freaking big. um, he connected me and my best friend, and I absolutely loved. He's got the saxophone vibes. So when I'm sitting and I'm doing art, he just brings all of that good energy, and it just flows. And he always has really beautiful messages too that he will just say every once in a while in a song. And it's just like that little pep in my step that I need while I'm stuck in a room where I'm like, oh my gosh, can I keep going? And Grizz is like, yeah, girl, you can keep going. And I just flow with him, and it's such a good time. So I'd say Grizz, overall, his music has definitely influenced my art quite a bit.
Awesome, definitely. I know a lot of people that are fans of him. I've never personally listened to his music, to be honest, but
Mhm.
I used to do photography for Electric Force, and a lot of my friends out there were into that, and I know a couple other people that are from Chicago that do sets for him and stuff like that, and yeah, I know he's huge. I know that much, definitely. So I don't know more than that. It's pretty vague, but I've never even listened to him, to be honest, and I'm guilty. But I might
I
have to see if I like it because I like jazz and I like saxophones and I like blues music and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So I'll have
He's
to
got
check it out.
he's got like genres and different vibes for everything. It's not just like I am a dubstep girly, so I love to go hard. Like my neck hurts from headbanging too hard from event last night. But
Oh wow.
he also has like really good just hanging out vibey stuff where you can just get lost in whatever you're doing, and it's the most magical experience. So I definitely recommend giving it a little listen.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I listen to all kinds of stuff. My playlist is very widespread. Like 1 minute it might be classical, the next it's classic rock, then it's reggae, then it's country, and then who knows what else in between. But it's just weird like that, And I like another friend of ours is Mark Lavengood. He's an artist. If you guys like music, check him out. Bring him up on the YouTube. Listen to him. He's played with Billy Strings. Sorry, I almost said Springs. I did not want to butcher that, but Strings. And they just played at the Van Ando not too long ago, and that was pretty badass. I was just like, dude, I actually know somebody that's like kind of a big thing, and that's cool. Yeah, so yeah, he's a great guy. He's a part of our community.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the next event you plan on attending where you're going to have your art available?
So one that is like completely solidified is going to be Michigan Gems and Genetics Sarnes Resort. Super pumped this summer. I do have a couple that are in the works and we're talking about it. So I just got to see based off of like scheduling and everything like that. But the one that I'm really excited about and I have confirmed is going to be Gems and Genetics. So really excited.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I work with a micro grow here in Muskegon on and off. I do some ad work for them and some other things. And I know they have a area called the Bowl Outdoors. It's an outdoor consumption zone where we can smoke outside. We can do different things. And I've thought about presenting a um, artesian market on a Saturday morning that'll go coincide with our farmers market once it gets warmer,
Yeah.
and seeing if maybe they don't want to do something with us and we can get some artists out there to set up a couple different vendor booths and stuff like that because the last thing I did there was actually it was a puff and paint, and we had a lady come in from Holland and teach you how to paint pictures, and it was a full class. I think it was $40 a person, free dab, free dab bars and stuff like that. So, I want to get into doing some more community-based events this summer. So, I'm gonna work to try to push to help more people set that up because I have the resources of different places to do this. I have another friend here in town who owns an art studio and photography studio, and she does yoga. She does like readings, and she does photography. She does graphic. She's a lady of all talents, and
Yeah.
her spot is pretty cool. Like once a year, they turn into like the folk Candyland game, and it's like a whole party that's like where you're in through the game. It's pretty cool, definitely.
Pretty
But
cool.
yeah, so I know you like Grizz, but that leads me to another question that we ask everybody. And that is, if you could smoke with anybody dead or alive, who would it be and why? But I want the first thought that pops in your head. Don't think hard.
My dad.
Okay,
My
definitely.
dad. He passed when I was 9 and my mom was 10. And he ended up passing on 420. So for me,
Wow.
it is. It took me a second to be able to like celebrate that day, but then I like understood like my dad smokes so much weed, so I understand now why I have lungs of steel because my dad was a pro. So I've learned to like love it and appreciate it, and every year I always smoke out one for him, and just dedicate a good moment where I'm like, yes, this is for me and you, Dad. Um, and I would love that chance to be able to like hear and see if my lungs are stronger than his were.
Right. Yeah, definitely. That would be cool. You
Yeah.
know, I I got to smoke with my grandpa once before he passed, and it
Mhm.
was like a shocking experience, I guess you'd say, because my grandpa had cancer and Alzheimer's and dementia, and he ended up dying from COVID. But his cancer is spread to his stomach, so it was pretty bad. And he was riding in the back seat, and we were on our way up to Traverse City, and he hits me and he says, "Let me hit that." And I said, looked at my buddy in the passenger seat, and I looked in the mirror and I said, "No." I said, "You're kidding me." He said, "No, for real." And he did too. And then after that, he started smoking it. And I was just like, wow, okay. You know, I can say I finally did that. But definitely, you got some fans in the chat here. You got Chase, and he wants to say that he is very proud of you. So I figured I'd share that with everybody here. Definitely. That is
Thank
awesome.
you.
So, you know, that leads me to another question that I have for you, and that is, are you currently working on any pieces?
Um, kind of, sort of. So I finally got into a space where I have all of my art projects that are like in the middle of art projects. So now I'm looking at them. I'm like, okay, so what's next? I've got stash boxes that I'm creating. I have a jewelry box that I need to paint. I've got clay that I want to experiment with my paintings and get some texture and make stuff pop off the canvas. So lots of ideas.
Oh, we lost her, guys. I think she lost her connection. Up.
Excited for, that's for sure. I've got lots of stuff in the middle of things.
Definitely. We lost you there for a second. I don't know what happened, but you're back and we're good. So definitely, you know, and that won't be cut out, guys, because you know how we are here. It's raw, uncut, and unedited. So whatever happens, happens. And, you know, things happen. You know, we don't always, YouTube doesn't always tell everybody that we're live when we make a mistake, but that's okay because this is put on YouTube for the history of forever. So, like, it ain't going anywhere, and people can come back, they can watch us, they can listen to what we have to say. And this is cemented in the history of Google forever. So, it's one of those things you can't, it's not very easy to get videos off of YouTube once they're on there because somehow someone recorded it or saved it or shared it somewhere, even if you delete it. So just remember that. You know, we had another channel, friends of mine today, Hi Again, which if you guys are listening out there and you like Michigan based content, Hi Again, spelt like Michigan, but Hi Again. I know you kind of got to break it up there, but they had over 80,000 followers, and Instagram decided not to, after today. So now they had to start over. Yeah,
Oh my
yep.
gosh. I was really worried about that the other day. I went to go log into my Instagram on my regular one, and it was just doing something really weird. And I was just at a dab event, and they had just pressed the concentrate, so it was just dripping down. And the vendor came over and they're like, "Do you want to take a dab because it's your birthday?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." So there was a video of me just grabbing one of like the drips of dab off of it, and I was like, "Please don't ban me for grabbing a dab." I was so heartbroken. I'm like trying to go through every scenario because it let me on my art page. So I was like, okay, I deleted the app, tried everything, and it wasn't working. And I'm like, well, at least I can still get to my art, so that's good. Everybody can still see that, so that's good. But I just went to like Instagram on my computer and I figured it out, and it said something about suspicious activity. So I don't know if somebody was trying to hack into my Instagram or if they were like, yo, don't post this weed shit. But like,
Right.
come on. I'm not
Yeah.
selling anything.
We got a strike and I couldn't do anything for 2 weeks, and I'm sure people noticed, but I didn't say anything. I kept it hush. Yeah, we got a strike on our channel, and it's there still, but it'll go away after 90 days. But for a whole week, I could not do anything. I couldn't go live. I couldn't upload videos. I couldn't do shorts. I couldn't do nothing. And it was because I did a short for our sponsor that makes bags for storage, grow bags. And the clip they gave me, which it shows in the beginning of this video here in our intro, which I got to update that. I had the wrong intro even after we fixed it, after we lost connection. Is it shows flour, and they don't like that, because if it's in the bag and it shows flour and you show a coupon code or a website, they think you're trying to sell the flour, and that's what we got the strike for. And it was like, okay, you guys think I'm trying to sell it. No, I'm trying to promote the bag that it's in, not the actual product. Like, but okay. So now we got to do it with empty bags. It's kind of stupid, but that's how we got to do it.
That's so silly.
Yeah. It's so stupid. And like I talk to so many other creators and artists such as yourself, and we all agree, if you can control how things are seen around the world, there's no reason YouTube cannot control it. So our videos, if they're cannabis related, can't be showed only in the states that have cannabis legalized. Like,
Yeah.
then nobody has to be ashamed or worried about it. Like, no big deal.
Right. That is a good idea. So nobody's freaking out over something that's not needed.
Definitely. Fighting the evil. You're funny, bro. He put on there, was about to dip out, and was like, whoa, she's fine. Let me check out this video. So sorry. Hey, we're guys. Sometimes we're guilty, But
It's all right. They all be playing out here. So.
Yeah, I seen your post the other day. That was funny. The guy actually dyed his hair the same as yours. That's kind of cheesy.
She must have loved the movie 101 Dalmatians. It just happened to be this way. I might change the color though, but I don't know what color yet. So we're gonna just like one day surprise everybody with a new hairstyle.
Hey,
it's been 2.5 years.
My sisters do the same thing. I actually have a sister. She's, not to be weird, but she's a lesbian, and she does her hair in some weird stuff, and it's like, okay, I guess that's how that works. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at her. It's creative. I just never seen shit like that. Like, they'll take their hair and do an undercut and have like designs underneath there, and they'll have stuff dyed on the designs, and it's like, holy shit, who's your barber? Because like, they have to be charging like $300 for a haircut or something. That's insane. Definitely.
That's artwork, though. That's for sure. I see that stuff and I'm like, wow. To go that with some of those colors and the patterns that they do, it blows my mind. I watch hair videos all the time. I watch food videos. I watch just all these different things because it's all different forms of art to me. So I need inspiration from everything here.
Definitely. Everything is inspirational. Like I tell everybody, sometimes you just gotta stop, slow down, and take in everything around you. And you'll notice there's more art. I'm smoking on some sour glue tonight. That's what I'm smoking on.
I am smoking on some
Chase.
herb.
Yeah, she put it on Instagram. Some guy got salty with her, and he dyed his hair the same as her. after being shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite funny.
And he decided to come into this chat, so have fun.
That's right. Hey, that's funny. But you know, I'm not about the drama, and hey, it is what it is. But definitely, you know, it's still funny that somebody copied your style like that. It's just, you know, I haven't had anybody impersonate me yet, but I know when you get to a certain following, people do, even in this market. Like, it's insane. Next thing you know, you'll have fake Instagram profiles of you, and you'll be like, damn, I'm a celebrity. Like, people want to be me now. Like, no, be yourself. Like, I like being myself. Like,
Mhm. I have had a couple of fake Instagrams made of me, and they always made me feel super weird. And so I'm like, I'm glad to be able to inspire. But I know some of those accounts were just like, I don't know, some weird, I don't know, weirdos on the internet. So, you just hurry up, have all your friends report them real quick, and then go on your way, and it's fun. Makes me
right.
giggle
Yeah,
after a minute.
definitely, definitely. Yeah. You know, back in the day, we used to send viruses to people's websites. Well, I did. I went to school for computer programming. So we'd send like a virus. It'd call it a ping of death. And what it would do is it would try to load your website so fast that the server would crash because it couldn't keep up. And then next thing you know, their website's down, and they're pissed. But hey, they messed with the wrong nerd, you know, and that's just how it went. Definitely. But I'm showing my age here. I'm showing my age, but definitely. So you like to smoke, and I read that you work as a bud tender, correct?
So I used to work as a bud tender. I've been in cannabis for the metric side since 2020, which it was right before, probably like a year before it like really went recreational. So I had a good experience in the medical area, which I was really excited about because it was just a little bit more, I don't know, there's just more passion behind it. People are excited about cannabis. People wanted to like actually heal with it. So when it became recreational, I worked for too many companies who did not care about weed, did not care about helping people. And everyone was like, sales, sales, sales. I'm like, cool, I can sell weed all day. But if somebody's coming to me and they have something they need help with, I'm going to take the time to help them and I don't care. And it might take me an hour, but guess what? I've been able to educate them on terpenes and different cannabinoids and how those can like actually affect them instead of just focusing on high THC. And so that's my favorite thing to do was educate as a bud tender, like, yo, I know that our brains and everybody's saying high THC and blah, 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 but how can we not focus on that and use it as a medicine and help people? So that was my favorite thing to do as a bud tender. And there were definitely some dispensaries that didn't like my mentality on me being super involved in the caregiver scene, especially because a couple of them I learned were trying to get them out. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm not working for a company that's trying to get caregivers out. I'm too passionate about them. I love them too much. Without them, we wouldn't be where we are today with me. So I had to be very strict and specific about those companies and brands. And due to that, it's limited the dispensaries, which a-okay with me because I want to work with people who are still going to be passionate about it 20 years down the line. And so right
Definitely.
now I'm a brand ambassador for a cannabis brand. And they have like 5 sister companies, but the main one they focus on is Element. And so that's a concentrate brand. And I'm a huge dab head. So when they recruited me at an art event where I was selling my art and they came up to my table, which to me is really crazy because they're a metric brand. So for them to come up to my art table and be like, hey, we love your art. Let's do this. Do you want to come work with us? I'm like, oh, shoot. Okay, that's so cool. And now they want to, like, we have some talks about collaborating a little bit with me and Celestial Aura Creations and Element. That's just, it's very mind blowing to me that I have a metric brand. Like, they brought me pre rolls for my birthday so I could have goodie bags for people. And I thought that was cool because I've worked in so many dispensaries, small dispensaries who claim they were mom and pops, who have given me no credit for the graphic design I've done for them. I've done package design, I've done billboards, I've done their branding, I've done everything, and not even getting like a little shout out to the other bud tenders. But yet, this bigger metric brand actually wants to work with me and like, they're like, yo, if you do events and you need somebody to do dab bars, let us know. We'll send somebody out there. I'm like, whoa, that's
Wow.
so cool. And it feels really good to be appreciated by that and like know that, I have a brand that I'm working for that actually cares not only about cannabis, but also like the art community too. And they know of Gems and Genetics. Like Gems and Genetics knows of them. And so that makes me feel really good too because it's kind of like a home everywhere I go. And I love that so much.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. You got to have that feeling. That's what it took me a long time to do that, you know. It's still taking me a long time to come out of my shell at these events because I am not outgoing like I used to be. I might seem like it, but I'm not. And I'm very guarded and I don't approach people. So it took a while to get used to everybody and get the surroundings and know everybody to be able to have fun and fit in. Now it's home. Yes, it is home.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah. And you know, Michigan Gems and Genetics is probably one of my favorite event hosts in West Michigan. You know, them country roots and a few others, but not a whole lot more. Signs Resort is great. You know, I'm gonna go to Camp Compost this year. A
Yeah.
lot of good, yeah, a lot of good events. You know, are right here in West Michigan, and we're gonna be coming up with a show here in February. I got to get the flyer together. I got so much work I got to do. You know, that's the thing people don't see is the behind the scenes stuff of how much creation I have to try to put into things. But
Yeah.
we're gonna do an event roundtable basically of me and all the hosts that put on events in West Michigan and Michigan Gyms and Genetics. It was their idea. It's not mine. I won't take credit for the idea. And he asked to come on our platform, and I said, "Yeah, let's do it." And we're gonna come on here and we're gonna talk about the events going on in throughout the summer and what you guys can expect. So be sure to check into that and we're always trying to make more for the community and that's what's cool about this community. Definitely.
Yeah. They have so
So
many great, I can't wait to watch that one. That's gonna be a good one.
oh, definitely, yeah. They if you haven't been to the Science Resort, you're gonna love it. This is like my
Oh,
gonna be my third or fourth year.
yeah,
And
it's my 3rd or 4th year too. It's one of my favorite events. The lineup's gonna be really good this year. A lot of my homies are performing. I can't wait. I'm
that's
selling my
awesome.
art.
Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. I love the laser light show myself. That's the thing for me, you know. That topped it last year for events. That experience alone was just like, man, I was just like, wow. And I've been to a lot of events, and that one took the cake, you know. Like I told them guys, I said, you know, you found something unique. Keep it going. Do this every year because
Absolutely.
it's worth it. And
It's one of my favorite, like, experiences. The way I was just sitting at my booth and all of a sudden these lights just come out of nowhere. I was like, it was reflecting off of my art in my booth and it felt so magical. And then seeing it off of the forest,
right.
whoa, they were incredible. The whole festival was incredible. We just have great weed there too. Everybody's just got good stuff. It's just a good time to hang out.
It really is. It really is. And it's I don't even know how to explain it. You got to go. That's all I
You
can
gotta
say.
go. That's all you have
Yeah,
to say.
yeah. Because if you don't know, you got to just go and experience it. Because it's one of those things that it's got its own magic to itself. Like you might be having the shittiest time and you get there and it's like sacred ground and like all your worries put aside, just go have fun because that's what you're there for. And
Mhm.
it makes it worth it. That's when I kind of just go and be myself.
Yeah, and the communities, especially with being a vendor too, it's really cool because the community within each other, where it's like, oh, especially camping or setting up, like if it's windy, rainy, you don't have enough equipment, everybody's got you. And I love it. Like every time I do a Michigan genetics event, I always know that the community is there. If I don't have something, somebody else does, and they got me. And if I got something, I got it for them. And it's just always a really good time. And it the community aspects is just really cool too. I love
Definitely.
it.
It's a community unlike any other I've been involved in. I came from the automotive industry. So, like,
Mhm.
I can tell you that car clubs, and I did car club events and big barbecues and charity events for years, years and years, probably over 20 years now. And there's so much drama there. It's like high school and everything. You don't get that with this. Like these people,
No.
everybody's willing to help everybody, and that's what's great about it. And it might not be like that in all markets, but here in West Michigan, that's what it's like. You know, we kind of help each other out. Even on the east side, you know, I've been over there too, so it's definitely great. They want to
Mhm.
know if you have any art pieces you can show on the screen real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did bring one out specifically that I haven't sold, and this one
Oh, that's
is
badass.
dedicated to my tribe. In the middle is my tribe symbol, which is Northern Cheyenne, and each color has a representation to a native meaning, and usually in battle. I'd have to
Okay,
look at the Instagram post to tell you all of the colors, but this one,
sure.
my dad is the Native American, and so this was my first dedication to him, and also finding my Native background and my culture and learning more about me. Like the colors were Northern Cheyenne specific, so
Okay.
it was just a really good way to dive deeper into who I am and like who my dad was and have some fun with it as well, making it still trippy like I am.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
And then in the background here, if you want, I can grab some specifically, but
Nope, you're good.
I paint on vinyl records. So that's like one of my favorite things to do. I love canvas. It's fun, but it's not my favorite. This one up here is one of the first biggest pieces I've done. It's got a lot of intricate. I can kind of pull that one closer, actually.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's definitely cool. I just hate that you have to hang it back up.
Oh, I don't. Not mine. So
Wow, that is wow, it's got more detail than I thought. Holy shit, that
yeah,
is
that's it.
badass.
I felt like I needed to bring it down. It is one of my favorite pieces that I've created. The problem with it is I was at an event and somebody stabbed it when I was using the bathroom. They
What?
stabbed a good couple of times, one right here and then down below here, which I've patched them up and you can't tell as
Right.
much. And I do plan on doing more with them and actually like painting them or I don't know. But I was also just really sad, of course, because
Oh,
like I put so much love and heart and that was my biggest piece at the time. So when they stabbed it and I came out, I was just about to sell this piece too. And of course it didn't
oh,
because like, you know, the holes and I wasn't offended by any means. But I was heartbroken. And I try
well,
not to take
yeah.
it for a long time. I bring it to events and I'm like, it's not for sale. I'm just showing it off because the holes me as an artist, I just don't feel comfortable selling it to you because I don't want y'all telling anybody that I gave you whole art with holes in it. No.
Right.
But people gave me such good perspectives on it, and they're like, it's an opportunity to do something new, to try some like experiment with some fun things. Um and I don't know, like I also can incorporate my new art style and like the skills that I've learned now. So I've been able to look at it in a better perspective and be like, okay, well, you know what? Yeah, this is just a new opportunity to make this piece even cooler than what it was before. So,
Right. Well, it's kind of a conversation piece, I'd call it. You take it
mhm.
with you. It kind of tells your journey. It's kind of a symbol of your work. You put a
Yeah,
lot of time and effort and, whatever else, you want to call it, your grit into it. And somebody's tried to sabotage it, but you still overcame it. So it's a conversation piece. It really is. And
absolutely. And it is always really fun to be able to like sit and talk to people about it because, you know, first of all, everybody's reaction is the same. They're like, oh my gosh, why would somebody do that? And I'm like, me too. Like, why would anybody ever stab a painting? If it was on
right.
accident, I could understand, but it was just one too many for it to happen. So it made me a little butthurt. But at the end of the day, I knew that like it was just a good way for me to talk to people about one, how can I add cooler things to it? But two, to give a little bit more of appreciation. So like a lot of people don't necessarily look at art as something that's worth a lot of money. And when I put a value on it, yeah, they can like hear that physical number, but they don't know that like that's how much that painting means to me, if not more.
More, right.
I'm putting my heart and soul into every single piece. Like I'm literally every single piece I create, I am just hoping that I can pass that little part of me and hope that I can spread the joy that I have with others and bring that happiness to people. So when somebody stabbed it, I was able to give people more of a perspective of how much that meant to me when they could see how I reacted to when it got stabbed. And it's like, yo, okay, well, maybe it is worth more than just a drawing. And so it's been really good to give a perspective too on art in general, so people aren't just buying people's art and just throwing it on the ground after they get it. Like that's like a part of them. So just like showing that love,
Exactly.
you know does make it go a long way.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like when they harm it, if they're harming a piece of you, and it's like, I can relate totally. I can relate. As a graphic designer, like when I did apparel, like you'd order something, you'd make a bunch of shirts for a company, you'd make it how they want, only for them to not want it, and you're like, oh, I just put everything into that. Like, really, yeah,
And
it
people don't
sucks.
understand either with graphic design. There's so much more that goes into it too. Like if you want something to look good, like I understand that there's a lot of awesome tools out there that make it really easy to create art, especially with AI. But
Yep.
what where did all of this come from really awesome artists who have created it already. And so people look at graphic design is just an easy thing to do, but not realizing that this took this long to do. Even if it is me sitting at my computer, my eyes are now really strained, my wrists hurt, and you didn't like it. Yeah.
Oh, I know. Trust me. Trust me. I used to shoot as a photographer. I used to do weddings, and I can tell you, I will never do a wedding again. I've done some large ones. I'm talking very large,
Mhm.
and like 3,000 people ones. And yeah, I'll shoot over 700 photos and try to condense it down to 80. And you spend all that time editing all of them, and then they only want 80 of them. and all the rest is just garbage. It's nothing. It's like, oh, okay, well, great. I spent 8 hours at your wedding shooting all this for you to pick 80 photos out
Right.
of almost 800. Yeah, real good, real great. Yeah.
Good luck.
So,
Thanks.
yep. So where can people find you at and connect with you on Instagram once again or on Facebook to find you, find your art? And is there anything else you want the audience to know before I let you go tonight?
With my socials, you can find me at Celestial Aura Creations. All one word. The Celestial is CELESTIAL. So that one does get a little mixed up sometimes, so I do understand. I'm trying to come up with maybe a new branding with the word, but I just have an obsession with the celestial aura part, so I think I'm gonna like play with that. But for now, it's just Celestial Aura Creations. And then my main Instagram is shakeyourcast_. So I got those. I also have a Redbubble, which if anybody isn't familiar with it, one of my favorite quick shopping sites. You can upload any of your digital designs and get it on t-shirts, blankets, pillows, shower curtains, hats, literally anything you want, tapestries. So I've got lots of cool stuff on there. That one you can look up Celestial Aura Creations or Cast Graphics and you'll find me there.
Okay, that's unique. Yeah, I'll have to check that out, definitely.
It's so awesome.
You guys heard it. You guys heard it here. You know where to find her art. If you're in West Michigan, I'm sure you can see her at some of the events this summer. And she always brings vibrant color and excitement. So you guys will like that, and you'll like her art, as you can see in some of it she's showing off. So with that being said, everybody, enjoy the rest of your evening, and thanks for coming on the Organically Blunt Show. Have a good night, everybody. As we close this chapter of Organically Blunt, immense gratitude to our exceptional partners who fuel our growth journey. Seedsman Genetics, the seasoned seed bank with over 2 decades of experience. Grow Bag, your trusted storage solution to protect terps. Gorilla Grow Tent, crafting spaces for cultivating dreams. Kind LEDs, illuminating your green haven. Country Roots Soil and Amendments, nurturing roots for success. Atlas Seeds, a source of pure genetic treasures. Green Wolf Genetics, creators of botanic magic. Smoke and Stork Genetics, where passion meets potency. Humboldt Seed Company, committed to cultivating excellence. Extreme Gardening, elevating your gardening game. Rain Science Grow Bags, redefining plants' homes. 420 Fast Buds, pioneers of fast and furious growth. Captain Redbeard Seeds, sailing the seas of genetic innovation. Aero Mixer, the rheumatic heartbeat of your grow. Petra Tools, your trusted garden companions. SoFem Genetics, sowing seeds of FEMS and Build-A-Soil, building the foundation of your organic oasis. Lost Close Plant Therapy, healing and enhancing plant vitality. Unlock these exclusive deals with coupon code Organically Blunt at checkout. Until our next episode, stay connected and keep growing, and as always, stay organically blunt.